What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. Today we have yet another Razer mouse to review. This is the Razer Wireless Mamba in Gears of War trim, which I have to say looks pretty darn amazing. And I also should mention I've kind of made a full conversion over to wireless mice, as wireless technology has gotten pretty amazing over the last 3 to 5 years. As you guys already know, I am no stranger to Razer products. I have plenty myself. I've never been sponsored by them or anything like that, but I have been using their peripherals for about 3 years now, and I personally have had no issues whatsoever. I've already done a full comparison of the entire Razer keyboard lineup. That video is linked in the description below if you are in the market for a new mechanical gaming keyboard. And now we're kind of shifting focus over to the mouse side of the house. As you see, picture here, I have all of the Razer wireless mice that are currently offered by Razer. I'm going to be reviewing them comprehensively one by one, unboxing, initial impressions, and then long-term review. And then at the end of all that, I'm going to be comparing them side by side so you can get an idea of what mouse is right for your gaming style. All right, guys, let's hop over here to the Stormtrooper PC and unbox this thing. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper PC, this is where we do our unboxings, custom controller and PC builds, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff if you guys are new to the channel. Alright, so unboxing the Gears of War 5 edition of the Mamba Wireless. Again, like I had mentioned during the intro, I am moving towards the wireless sector of peripherals, as there virtually is zero lag or latency anymore. None of these are using a Bluetooth connection. They might have an option if you would like to go Bluetooth, but these primarily use a dongle that you can plug into either the front of your console or the top of your PC tower, and that's going to give you a dedicated 2.5 gigahertz wireless connection, which is very rapid. There's virtually no latency. So as this is a Gears 5 edition, it does include some bonus DLC for the game itself, a blood splatter and banner. So that's cool. I'm not a huge Gears fan, but I know a lot of you guys probably are. It is a good series. In fact, it's probably one of Microsoft or Xbox's most prestigious exclusives. And I've got to say, before I unbox this thing, Razer does a phenomenal job with their limited editions or customs. This picture on screen here of the Cyberpunk 2077 Viper Ultimate that they just released, that thing's pretty sweet. So the Mamba Wireless sports an extended battery life of up to 50 hours of use on a single charge, so that's pretty good. That's not as good as the advertised 70 hours that you're getting on the Viper Ultimate, but then again, this is kind of their wireless flagship at a retail of $130. However, you can find these on sale pretty frequently on Amazon. You also have true 16,000 DPI optical sensor. So that's cool and all, but that's kind of like bragging rights. You know, a high DPI or CPI, you're probably not going to use that, especially if you're playing a first-person shooter. You're probably going to keep your DPI down there in the 800 to 2,000 range. So, you know, when you see an optical sensor or digital sensor out there that has a 18,000 DPI, that's cool and all, but it's more so just for bragging rights. And then you have 7 programmable buttons, which are rated for up to 50 million clicks, so you know this thing will last you a long, long time. You have a 2-year warranty. That is important. I've been hearing a lot of people say that Razer's warranties are trash. I don't know where they're basing this information. I've compared them to Logitech, Corsair, SteelSeries, Astro, all the gaming peripheral companies out there. Their warranty is virtually aligned across all sectors of components. So, yeah. This, of course, coordinates with Razer Chroma, which is what allows you to have all of your Razer devices in the family or ecosystem doing the same pattern across the board, which is kind of nice. Really cool blue packaging for this limited edition. Generally, Razer products go with a lime green. It is kind of their signature color and whatnot. All right, so cracking into the box here, you have this little silk pull tab. For gamers, by gamers, that's kind of the marketing slogan. Slogo? So I just made up a new word. When you have a logo and a slogan together, which these guys do, it's a slogo. All right, sweet. So you have this thank you letter from the CEO and every Razer product, basically, you know, thanking you for getting the product. If you have any issues, contact them on social media or via their customer service line. You also get a very good instruction manual with all Razer products. Full color. English is the primary language, good font, even for an elderly man like myself that doesn't have the eyes of an eagle anymore. You can still read this quite well, and it's very informative. Tells you how to, where to find the dongle, which is built into the mouse, plug that into your PC, what drivers you need to install, which again is the Razer Synapse 3 application. That will allow you to remap your buttons via the software suite, as well as get your lights all coordinated so you can really stimulate your corneas with that sweet RGB that you kids love so much. Also, not a real Razer product unless you get the stickers. You gotta get the stickers, boys. I don't know what people do with these. Nobody sticker bombs their stuff anymore, but I don't know, maybe if you're 14 or something and you want to sticker bomb your room and get your mom to yell at you for ruining the walls with stickers, you can do that. So you do have a Gears 5 downloadable content card in here that gives you blood spray and banner for use in Gears 5 multiplayer. Requires an Xbox Live Gold membership. That's how they get you. They're trying to upsell you on that. But anyway, I'm not going to use that, so if you guys want to... So we're going to go ahead and scratch this thing off real quick, and then I'll give that code to you guys, as I have absolutely zero need for it. We'll take my my blade here. That is messy. I probably should not have done that on my desk, but whatever. There you go, guys. Enjoy that code. I didn't do a very good job, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge for you, but hey, it's there for you. You have your cable in here. This is a 10-foot braided cable. It is also Razer branded on each side. You have a little cap here to keep dust out of your USB connector. This is USB, micro USB, so you're not getting USB-C or anything. This is a proprietary cable to this device. As you see, it has notches and a weird kind of wedge shape. That's to line it up so you plug it in the right way. We'll check this to see if you can use other micro USB cables you have laying around your room, or if it has to be this shape in order to fit into the port. If that is the case, that's unfortunate. If you lose this cable, you can't charge your device. That's a major issue. So we'll cover that in a little bit. You also have this little wire tie back. This is about a 10-foot cable, but again, this thing is wireless, so you can play wired, there's that option, but why would you want to when wireless technology has gotten so good? So we'll just set this aside for now. All right, then you have your actual mouse itself. Now this packaging is not as premium as some of the higher end Razer products that have laser cut foam and stuff like that. Wow, that thing is slick. All right, setting the packaging aside. All right, peeling off the sticker on the bottom here over the optical sensor. That is always a satisfying sound. So you have your dongle right here in the bottom. We'll go ahead and plug that in right now. You have your optical sensor on the bottom. It's labeled 16,000 DPI or dots per inch. If you see CPI, it's virtually the same thing as DPI. It's basically a measure of sensitivity. So this has the Razer stock skates, not the new upgraded skates like the HYPR Ultimate here, but these are really good. I have used these stock skates for the longest time on my Razer Lancehead, which I've owned for 2.5 years. These things are worn out, as you can see. But I will say Razer stock skates are good enough to where you don't even need to upgrade them with aftermarket truck going by. That guy must be hung like a mule. He's got the big V8 truck with the loud pipes. Anyway, Razer stock skates are good enough to where you don't even need to upgrade them with some aftermarket G skates or a company like that, Slick Skates, whatever. So the Mamba is extremely ergonomic. This is not a ambidextrous mouse that has the identical buttons on each side and is sculpted for ambidextrous use. This is what's called an ergonomic mouse, so it is strictly for right-handed players. To me, it's a bit of a mid-size mouse. It feels pretty good. Feels really good when you're palm gripping it. Claw grip feels okay. Fingertip grip does not feel great. I will say that because of how flared out it is right here. Your index and ring finger, or I'm sorry, your ring finger and pinky finger are at kind of an awkward angle. It kind of cocks your wrist. You can't really pinch it like that because you're not over the buttons. It forces your wrists out at a weird angle. So if you are going to be playing first-person shooters and you do fingertip grip to get those quick snap aims, this is probably not what you're going to look for. You're going to look for the smaller ambidextrous mice like the HYPR. But if you're playing MMORPGs or something, or even first-person shooters, but you prefer to palm grip, or even palm grip or claw grip, where you still have your palm resting on the shell, but your fingertips are kind of curved like that, so you can actually extend and retract like that for those finite movements. This will work out really well for you. You do have two large buttons on the side here, which are mechanical. Very easy to cleanly hit. Nice satisfying tactile click on there. You have two buttons on the top. This is for adjusting your DPI on the fly, up and down. So you pick up a sniper rifle or something, you want to lower that DPI to get some real fine movements. You can do that right there on the fly. The scroll wheel, pretty good, satisfying steps, but it is very, very loose and easy to move. There's not a lot of resistance, which I prefer because, you know, I generally have this set to be swapping weapons and things like Call of Duty and whatnot. And then click down for melee, obviously. Clicking down feels good, but again, it's very sensitive. I feel like I could accidentally scroll the wheel and then I'm swapping weapons and stuff, and that's not fun. I do like the material on top of here. It's a very satisfying kind of matte material, matte finish, flat matte finish, and it feels really, really good to the touch. Very smooth. It's not rubberized or soft touch material, but it feels good, especially because of that ergonomic shell and design. You also do have a Gears logo that will bleed that RGB lighting through, which I think is cool. I've always liked the Gears logo. And then you have some really kick-ass, for lack of a better word, rubberized grips on the side. I love these old school rubberized grips. They're kind of moving away from that and going towards this design here. But I personally prefer their older rubberized grips like they had on the Razer Lancehead, which is, you know, their older mouse. They're actually don't produce it anymore. You can still find new stock on Amazon, Walmart, but they don't produce it anymore. So I prefer this grip here. It is extremely grippy, and if you're going to be palm gripping it, it feels phenomenal on the fingertips, for one, and it is stupid grippy. Like, this thing is not going anywhere. Watch it fly out of my hand and break. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So you do also have this little port here. Now, the purpose of this is if you want to have the adapter not plugged into the top of your tower, if you want to run a USB cable through there and then just plug in the dongle into this, very similar to like the charging dock for the Viper. But this isn't a dock though. It has a non-slip rubberized foot where you can just set it down on your desk like that and then have the dongle a little bit closer, making a wireless connection with your mouse. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even use this. I'm just personally going to plug this directly on the top of my tower there. It's not going to make a bit of difference being 1.5 feet closer to your hand, to your mouse. Not to mention, this doesn't do anything crazy. Like, this is an actual, you know, it has RGB and it has little metal prongs that you can just set the mouse in there and it puts it on display and charges it. This doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot, but I'm glad they did include it. I mean, I'll never complain about getting additional accessories in a box. So whenever you do connect a new Razer product and you already have the Razer Synapse 3 application installed, as I do, it'll pop up telling you there's new drivers that need to be installed for your new device, and you can do that now. It will require a PC restart, so keep that in mind if you have anything that needs to be saved in the background. And if you do not have the Synapse 3 application, when you do plug in that dongle to the top of your PC, you will be prompted to download the Synapse 3 app, which you will need in order to customize and control the features of your new mouse. Alrighty guys, jump in my PC real quick. I'm going to walk you guys through the Razer Synapse 3 application. Alrighty guys, we are over here at the PC, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so we can get set up with the Razer 3 Synapse app, or Razer Synapse 3. Alright, so from the dashboard here, you're going to have all of your Razer products. I get questions a lot about what this is here. That's actually my MSI motherboard, which can coordinate lights with Razer products, which is pretty cool. Does virtually nothing for performance, but looks good cosmetically. So we have the Razer Mamba Gears 5 Edition. So first tab over here, you have Customize. This is going to allow you to remap any of your buttons. However, I leave all this default because this remaps everything. So what happens in Windows when you're just browsing the web and whatnot, which by default, you can go backwards and forwards on a web page by using these side buttons here. I like that. What I do is if I have a ambidextrous mouse that has identical buttons on the right side, I will deactivate the two over here so you don't accidentally actuate them or register them when you're not trying to. But I leave all these default because whatever game you're playing, you can obviously go into the keybinds or remap buttons and just change up per game what you want to use. So I leave all that default. This does have onboard profiles, which is awesome. Not just selected DPI, but also onboard profiles. So if you go over to a buddy's house that does not have the Synapse 3 application, you're still going to have your custom keybind set in your mouse here, which is pretty cool. Over here in the performance setting, you can have a maximum of 5 different onboard DPI profiles, which again are switchable with these buttons here on the top. And notice in the bottom right hand corner, you're also getting an indication of that. So if you're in game, you'll get that little overlay to pop up, let you know what your DPI is at. I will turn this off and just set it at my default DPI of 1800, which is what I play with. Yes, I know that's a little high. I reduce my sensitivity in game and it works out for me just fine. Polling rate is how many times your mouse refreshes its connection with the PC per second, I believe. So leave your polling rate at the default, which is the maximum of 1,000. Gets you the best response time. Lighting here, you can adjust the brightness. I personally would put the brightness at about 50. You'll save a little bit of battery life and still get that cool RGB glow. Speaking of which, I will say the RGB lighting on this thing is pretty awesome. You have the scroll wheel illuminated, which you can set different effects for individually. And then you also have that cool Gears logo on there, which I think looks really handsome. I would like the lighting to switch off when my monitor goes off from inactivity, or also when the mouse has been untouched for about 5 minutes. You can set up any of the quick effects here. So by default, you have, static, reactive. We'll just leave it on spectrum cycling. If you want to do advanced effects, you can create custom lighting effects in Razer Synapse Studio, which lets you coordinate all your devices to do some really advanced effects. But keep in mind, the brighter your RGB lighting is, and also the more advanced the effect is, it's going to drain your battery life quicker. So keep that in mind, as it is wireless and your battery life will actually matter. Calibration here, you can set up for different surfaces if you have a hard or soft mouse pad, or maybe a rubberized or even plastic or glass coated one. Yes, they do have glass coated mouse pads, by the way. And adding a surface is really quick. We'll go ahead and do this now. You go to custom down here, hit start. I'm going to move my keyboard up and out of the way, and we are going to go ahead and move it across my mouse pad. Cool. And as you can see now, that unlocks this menu here, lift off range. This is how high you can lift the mouse off the mouse pad if you're trying to do lift offs in a shooter where you're moving and then you lift the mouse off by either tilting it or actually lifting it completely up. So how sensitive the sensor is to your mouse pad for doing lift offs, I will probably leave this at the lowest. So I have the least amount of lift off needed before it stops registering and stops my aim and movement. And then over here at power, after 3 to 5 minutes of inactivity, I would like it to go to standby to save a little bit of extra juice. And then wireless low power mode, this basically will be what battery percentage you want to be at before your mouse gives you a warning. So this has about 50 hours of advertised battery life. So I'd leave it at about 15%. That still gives you about 7.5 or 8 hours of playtime before it goes completely dead on you. Plenty of time to finish up your game session and plug into the charger. All right, I'm going to game a few sessions with this bad boy here. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit you guys with a little overlayed section of the where you're going to see my gameplay with the mouse, and then also me commentating my thoughts on the mouse, how it performs as a gaming mouse. All right, guys, so I got to say the Razer Mamba is ice cold, much like this frosty themed sniper rifle over here. The gameplay is nothing too crazy. I'm trying a new sniper rifle for the first time and also a new mouse. So you're going to see me miss a lot of shots, but you're going to see me nail some people too, like a handyman. So anyway, the ergonomics of this mouse are fantastic. If you like to palm grip, it is sculpted very well for pretty much any medium to large size hand. I also do like the rubberized grips on the side, and I especially do like those 2 large side buttons. They made it very easy to throw equipment and whatnot. Again, you have 2 DPI buttons on the top, but I just kept mine set at 1800, which seems to work pretty well for me. I will say that the scroll wheel is a little bit light for my taste, but it still feels really good, and clicking down the mouse wheel to melee was also quite satisfying. There was a small imperfection in the plastic on the top of the shell, right where the left mouse button is, so that felt a little bit less than ideal to the fingertips, but other than that, the shell felt incredibly well. I think it also looks amazing with that kind of Gears of War theme. Even if you're not a Gears of War fan, just that kind of snow Arctic camo that they went with, I think looks really, really good. I absolutely do love the left and right mouse buttons. I think they're very mechanical, very clicky, good rebound, nice tactile, satisfying click. You know when you are actuating them and whatnot. The sensor in it is phenomenal. It was able to track very well and also flick and snap aim pretty well, which you're not going to see too much of here as I am sniping, but I did also play a match with a Mac 10 where I was playing close quarter combat, so I was doing a lot of snap aiming and flick aiming, and it worked out really well for that. The stock skates are good. They're not as good as those white ones that you'll get on some of the more premium versions of Razer mice like the HYPR Ultimate and whatnot, but it's overall just a really, really good mouse, and I would say this is perfect for somebody that palm grips, but I also did fingertip a little bit and claw grip, and it worked out well in that means as well. So overall, just a really solid mouse, and I gotta say, I am a fan.